The secret method you are about to discover really pisses men off. So turn your volume down and lean in close, because I don't want any men hearing this. I'm about to give you a secret mind control method to brainwash any man into doing what you want, even if he doesn't want to. The second you walk up to any man and use this method on him, you set off a chemical chain reaction inside of his brain known as mental flooding, which causes his brain to become flooded with strong, almost compulsive feelings of intensity, excitement, focus, and obedience. Literally creating a mental fixation inside his brain that makes him not just eager, but compelled to do what you want, even if you never thought he would. Now, I admit this power could definitely be used for evil, and I'll get to that. But first, just imagine what you could do with a method that lets you control a man's mind. You can use it to make that man who practically despises you right now suddenly mentally fixate on being with you and make him so intensely obsessed with you that he can't even stop himself from brutally ignoring any other woman in your favor. You can use it on your ex to have him beg and plead to come crawling back for another chance. You can use it on your bored, disconnected boyfriend or husband to have him so sick with love that he literally can't stop himself from spoiling you rotten just to see a big, cheesy smile spread over your face. You can use it on your partner to make him want to quit drinking or smoking, or maybe just put down his damn phone and focus his 100% attention on you. In fact, you can even use this method to make the most commitment-phobic man of all feel such an intensity of pure desire and love for you that he starts fantasizing out loud about standing next to you at the altar and sliding a wedding ring on your finger. And listen, I know how bizarre this sounds, but I'm really not kidding when I say this method is weird but deadly effective. How do I know? Well, because I've had someone use this method on me. And to tell you what happened, I have to reveal something incredibly personal and deeply embarrassing about me. Something I've never had the guts to tell anyone except my mom before now. So I want you to stop whatever else you're doing and watch this video right now to the end, okay? My name is Mirabelle, and I am an Amazon.com #1 best-selling author and professional relationships coach who's helped over 316,000 women around the world. And as a woman, a wife, a former model, and a well-known dating coach, this is really hard for me to tell you. But on the top of my head is a massive bald spot. A bald spot that I put there because I have an incurable disorder that causes me to pull out my own hair in fistfolds. Now, if you've never heard of this disease before, it might seem weird or even kind of gross to you. But trust me, weird doesn't even begin to cover it. I can tell you right now that this disease has made me so miserable and embarrassed over the years that it felt like my heart was being mangled under piles and piles of boulders. And I won't even tell you about the horrifying experience of being that model with the bald patch. Other than to say, yes, it cost me a lot of jobs. And yes, I went home crying on more than one occasion. Anyway, so why am I telling you all this deeply personal, embarrassing stuff? Well, here's why. One Saturday morning about 6 months ago, my mom came bursting into my house babbling that she'd found someone who could cure my disease. But this someone was not a doctor, not even a therapist. Instead, it was a really scary-looking, really old guy who worked out of his car. He called himself a professional mentalist, which allegedly was the power of mind control. Now, I did not want to see this man. I mean, would you want to let some total stranger prod around inside your head? Plus, I didn't even believe in mind control anyway. But I didn't want to hurt my mom's feelings. So I agreed to go. And when I got into his car, that's when things got spooky. This old, skinny, bearded guy leaned over and mumbled 8 phrases into my ear. 8 phrases that were so weird and intense and enchanting that I experienced what can only be described as a mental explosion. There really is no other way to describe it, and I could feel my brain melting like butter, totally open, totally defenseless, weirdly and creepily eager to do whatever he told me to do. Now, I'm a pretty skeptical woman, and like I said, I do not believe in things like mind control. But here is where things start to really get weird. The next morning, lying in bed, I reached for my bald spot to, tug out some more hair. And it was like an invisible hand came out of nowhere and ripped my hand away from my head. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. And in that second, I felt my skin crawling and prickling as I realized, holy crap. In less than 10 minutes, that crazy old man had crawled inside my head and controlled my behavior from the inside. Then, as if that wasn't crazy enough, 5 days later, I had an emergency situation where I was forced to try out this method on my friend without telling her what it was, which is maybe a bit sneaky, but I'll let you be the judge of that. It was a Thursday night, and I was asleep in my bed when I got jerked awake by this crazy hammering on my door. Frightened, I grabbed my baseball bat and peeked outside. But the woman bashing on my door wasn't some burglar. It was my best friend Susan, looking like death warmed over. I dropped the bat, yanked open the door. She collapsed into my arms and let out this spooky wail. "John says it's over." So I sat her down and opened up my big fat mouth, and I immediately said the wrong thing. "Susan," I said, "I know things have been bad for months now. Maybe a breakup could be for the best." She stared at me with bulging eyes like I'd just run over her pet cat. "But I still want it to work," she cried. "It's just that every time we start getting really close, he freaks out and pulls away. He's done it before, but this time he says he means it. Please help me fix it. I'll do anything." Seeing my friend in so much pain, I wanted nothing more than to fix her heartbreak. And that's when my brain came up with the craziest, stupidest, evilest idea I've ever had. "You should try that method on her," whispered my evil thoughts. "If it worked on you, maybe it could work on John too." I won't lie. I was scared, but I did it anyway. I took the 8 sentences that weird old man had whispered in my ear, and I told it to her. She sat bolt upright like she'd been struck by lightning. "Really?" she said, her eyes like saucers. I nodded. "But do it now before it's too late," I said. She gave me a scared smile and left. 2 whole weeks went by, and Susan was completely AWOL, and I started to freak out. What was happening? Where was she? Finally, 3 weeks later, my office door slammed open, and in burst Susan. "Susan," I yelled, "where have you been?" "I'll tell you where I've been," she said, giggling. "I've been in Italy." "What? What are you talking about?" I said, shocked. "Well," she said, smiling, "do you want the good news or the bad news?" I'll take the bad news," I said cautiously. "Okay, well, the bad news is you have to wear whatever dress I say and make a speech in public about me, because you're going to be my maid of honor at the wedding." "Huh?" I said, flabbergasted. "You got engaged to some random guy in the last 3 weeks?" "No, silly," she laughed. "I'm marrying John, my boyfriend. He proposed to me in Italy." My eyes bugged out. "But I thought you said he broke up with you." "Yes," she said softly. "But I guess he changed his mind, didn't he?" Then she jumped up and clammed her arms around me like a bear trap. "It was the method," she sobbed. "I can't believe it really worked. I thought I'd lost him forever. But now he's like putty in my hands. He's acting so in love with me, I can't even believe it. And now we're getting married. He always told me he would never marry me, that he wasn't the marrying kind. I don't know what that thing was you told me to do, Mirabelle, but it really worked." Now, you might think I'd be happy for my friend. And sure, I was glad, but honestly, inside, I was panicking. I'd thought the method might help, but even I wasn't expecting this. And right about then, I got a horrible surprise visit from my ugly alter ego. "Mirabelle, you idiot," it jeered in its evil voice. "You really think you can mess with mind control? And even if it does work, how do you know that this really will work for every woman? Plus, this method isn't even yours. What are you, a thief?" I felt a sick pang of fear and guilt because I knew the voice was right. So right there, I made a snap decision to test the method and prove whether it was really that powerful. And I told myself I'd deal with the moral issues afterward. Over the next 4 months, I tested the method on 214 women who tried it out in their relationships, on their dates, and in their marriages. Sophie's boyfriend had moved 3,000 miles away for his career, and he was starting to drag his feet about the relationship, and even talk about maybe seeing other people while he was away. But all that changed when she used the method on him. She used it on him over the phone, and the very next day, she woke up to an email begging her to come visit him because he couldn't bear to be away from her one more minute. And as soon as she got there, he sat her down and asked her to seriously consider moving to be with him because he said he felt totally stuck and trapped without her there by his side. Becky wrote me this email. "Hello, I don't usually write in to say what I thought, but I just had to let you know what happened. My boyfriend broke up with me and said it was because he just wasn't feeling the love anymore. I was heartbroken, wanted him back so bad, but I thought he'd gone forever. Then my sister told me about you, and I used your techniques with him over the phone, and straight away it was like I had some kind of weird magic power." He immediately charged over, and I almost couldn't believe it was the same man. We got back together that night, and now he's so loving and passionate, I feel like when we first got together. Only now it's better because every time we talk,